This is still Morten from FESPA, and at this time we're in Hall 25, which I mentioned we have been for the past 3 sessions we have done here. We are at a booth with some very good friends from Hybrid Software. Actually, at the last FESPA in Amsterdam, it was announced that a group of companies that has been always under the same name and the same company, they have all changed into Hybrid Software. So I'm here with Justin. Justin, great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Martin.
So how is the show for you this year here in Berlin?
It's fantastic. It's so good to be in a real show again, meeting with people. Of course, we were in Amsterdam a few months ago, but it was much smaller.
Yeah.
So this is great. It's really exciting to be here.
I want to learn a little bit more about you and your company in a moment, but why are you having that tablet in your hand? I'm curious now.
Well, this tablet's got a web browser on it.
So it's just a web browser, basically?
Yeah, it's a web browser, and this is just a very simple sample of a SCADA application. So this is the type of controller that's used in a manufacturing organization. And the reason that we've got this is because today we're talking about our smart DFE, a smart digital front end that controls an industrial inkjet press.
And just to understand that, it's because before we turned on the camera, you told me that in this industry, in the printing industry, we often talk about JDF standards. And if you look at how machine manufacturers work outside the industry, and maybe also even on the production side of many of the companies, they simply don't use the JDF as a standard. So you're basically bridging something that makes that technology accessible into how you control the things, right?
Yeah, we see a world where printing's changing, and in the past, historically, you would have had a dedicated printing system, and you'd have had to have had highly skilled operators with lots of specific print knowledge in their heads, lots of years of experience to apply to get the output that they require. But today things have changed, and in an industrial setting, you need systems that are fully automated, that can talk to other parts of the manufacturing process. And the skills aren't there in the operators' heads. So we have to take that knowledge and we have to put it into our software. Hence the smart DFE, because the smarts have been put into the digital front end. And the way that we connect, rather than using JDF, is to use an industry standard protocol, OPC-UA. It's the Open Platform Control Universal Access. And it's already used in thousands of factories around the world to control their manufacturing processes. So by adopting that protocol, we can instantly fit into what the customer's got. Because they may not be putting a printer as such, but it may be just a printing subsystem that forms a part of that manufacturing process.
That basically means, because I think that one of the reasons why this industry have been talking so much about JDF is that there's a need for some kind of standardization in order to communicate across different vendors, across different types of machines and that. So what you say that when you have the DFE as that is basically you develop DFEs for third parties, right?
Yeah, so the background of our organisation is that for the last 30 years, people in print probably know us for the Harlequin RIP. The Harlequin RIP has been driving CTP devices and stuff in graphic arts.
Wasn't that in the old times a card that you could put in a Mac?
It probably was, but that probably precedes my joining the company. But certainly we're very, very well known in the industry for our RIP technology, for processing PostScript PDF files and turning those into rasters. And we do that faster than anyone else. So we're very, very good at the processing of variable data content. And so in today's world, instead of having mass production of products, I'm sure that most people are talking to you about the holy grail of mass customization. So the challenge with that is that every single item that gets printed is different in some aspect. So that's the variable data challenge. And the challenge of being, it's a big data problem. It's how do we get all of this data that we need to fed to those print heads in the speed that we need to drive the line speed of the press, but to do so so that we've still got the quality of the end product. And that's the challenge that we try to help people take on.
And I would say that if you are not a technical person like myself, you would probably just add more CPU power and more RAM, but that costs money, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. And so that's the challenge. We find today that in the marketplace there are more and more people that are either building a digital printer, it's the first printer that they've ever built, or they're traditional printers that are building their first digital inkjet printer. And they build that device, and then sometimes they don't realize that they need a mechanism to get the PDF input file to actually drive that press. And so they're going to need some software. They're going to need some software expertise. They're going to need an understanding of that workflow. And that isn't something that many of these companies have got. So what we've done is that we've formed a solution which takes care of that and enables that manufacturer of the digital printing system to get their product into market very fast, because time to market's all important, as you know.
Of course, yeah. So, and if we take a little broader perspective of hybrid, I mean, actually, I can tell you, it may sound stupid, but I will be very blunt and honest with you. Before I came to FESPA last time, I didn't know that Meteor and Hybrid and Global Graphics were the same company.
Right.
Because basically you have a lot of different offerings that you still brand them under the names, but now you're consolidating the brand awareness about Hybrid. So it's software, it's also hardware, right? It's a wide array of technologies you offer. But when you say what you just did now, it seems that everything fits so fine together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I right? I can't remember.
No, you're absolutely right.
It was just because you looked in your eyes like, what is he talking about now?
No, absolutely. The critical thing is that we're companies that are all dedicated to print. And that's really, really important. So within our portfolio, we've got the company that I work for, Global Graphics Software. So we're best known for our RIP technology, our halftone screening technology. We've got patented technology for correcting artifacts that are seen in print, especially things like banding that's often there because of non-uniformity wear print heads.
That's a typical, the reason why you have banding is probably because they don't measure and take that into consideration?
Well, I think there are a number of different reasons that you have it.
Okay. And that was one reason.
Absolutely. We're not so worried about what the cause of that problem is. As long as that problem is consistent, then we can actually calibrate for that and provide a solution that gives you nice.
So just to understand that, so what you say is basically that with the software that you create and develop, you basically, if a OEM choose to work with you or an end customer choose to work, you can eliminate some of the artifacts that you don't want to do, just because you can basically control it in the pre-press or in the RIPs, basically, or?
Yeah, we control it in the screening. So by changing the way that we do the screening, we can trick the human eye. The error's still there, but we mask it. And then because the banding, for example, that could also be like a physical problem, right? So what you're saying is basically that cheating the eye and the brain a little bit, then you can basically eliminate what you would have seen as banding. Yeah, because these manufacturers, they've got a really challenging business. They've got to get ink to hit a substrate at higher speed. There's all sort of other environmental conditions. So you're going to expect that there's some imperfections there. So what we do is that we help to correct for that through software, because trying to correct for it through hardware adjustments is a really costly thing to do. And there's always going to be a compromise somewhere along the way. So what we say is just get your machine to a constant state, and then we can take that and we'll correct it using software. So Global Graphics...
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, it must be fun working with...
No, it's fun and
very helpful. I mean, to the people investing in expensive hardware, that you can solve some of the problems by software, right?
Well, yeah, but of course a lot of people take some proof to make sure they understand that and believe it. So Global Graphics Software, world's fastest RIP technology, experts in multi-level screening technology, print quality, uniformity. So just around the corner from us, co-located here, are Meteor Electronics. They're also based in Cambridge in the UK as we are, and they are the producers of the electronic cards that drive most of the world's leading inkjet print heads.
Really? Okay.
And they have a data path, and they also utilise the Harlequin RIP as part of their data
nice that
pipeline.
you're neighbours, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's great cooperation between the companies. And then together in the group we have a company called Zytron, who are based in Ann Arbor in the US. And they have got a digital front end, and their Navigator digital front end, which they use to drive predominantly memjet based systems.
Yeah. Because there you need fast processing because it's so fast delivers.
Absolutely. And they're experts in that area. We have Hybrid Software, who are probably the most visible organisation because they're selling to end users, to converters, to packaging organisations.
And are used because it's like something that you use in the pre-press department because your thing is a little bit more inside, in a package basically, right?
Yeah, no one's ever going to know that they've got a global graphics product because they're buying an HP or a Durst or a different
But they will
product.
know if they don't have it, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's not going to do a lot. So Hybrid Software are experts in the label and packaging marketplace. And so what they have is very, very successful software for pre-press. They have their PAX software, which is a native PDF editor for packaging.
I actually, and I can recommend this to the viewers here, that I saw from on Hybrid Software's website, there's some really good explainer videos about the technology. And I think that is, I think a lot of vendors are good at presenting their technologies, but I think that it just blew me away because there was such a big library of tutorials and learning experience. So that was really good.
Yeah, and they're a very good organisation, as you say, for explaining their solutions to an end user because that's their business.
Yeah.
They also have.
Are you talking to engineers, or who are you talking to?
Engineers.
Yeah.
And for someone like me, that's a real challenge because I'm the least technical person in the company by far.
Okay.
So the other thing that Hybrid Software do is they have their CloudFlow software. So this is a workflow for the label and packaging market, and then they offer automation services where they can hook into ERP systems, MIS systems. They're very, very successful in label and packaging, and I'd encourage anybody that's in that marketplace to just explore the Hybrid Software site.
Of course, he's working for them, so of course he's encouraging them to that. I mean, everybody seems to think that this is a free advertising opportunity. Okay, it is.
So Hybrid have interestingly earlier this year just added our 6th acquisition, and that's a company called Creative Edge. And Creative Edge have got a product called IC3D. That's a 3D rendering application, and it's particularly good for people who are dealing with the challenges of creating shrink wrap. So now we've got to get this artwork that's been done, and we need to be able to visualize that.
How does it look
on a pack? Exactly. And the rendering technology that they've got is superb. It's so fast, and again, that's a technology that can be bought separately or integrated as part of the pack solution from the Hybrid Software.
When I hear you talking and I think about Hybrid and all the companies you mentioned, is the size and the growth and the deliverables you have in your company, is that mainly done by acquisition? Has it been more like diverted into separate segments from the start, or how has Hybrid got to where you are today?
Well, but there's one other company, that I didn't mention, which is Color Logic. And Color Logic's really important to us.
Because that's the color management side of it.
Exactly, and that technology resonates across our group. So I think the secret to our success is that we've always bought small, successful companies. And what we've tried to do is to keep their culture and keep the DNA that made that organisation successful, but then to start to collaborate with one another. Not necessarily exclusively. Sometimes we might collaborate with another partner that does something someone else in the group does, But at the end of the day, our mantra is if that's what's right for the customer, then that's what we should do.
And it's funny with the strategy, because I think I saw a press release just some weeks ago that it's actually extremely successful times for you right now, right? I mean, it seems that you have growth in almost every segment, right?
Yeah, we do, but you know, like all organisations, we want more, but also we've got to be realistic. We're in challenging times, so you know, we may have to adapt some of the things that we do for today's environment. But yes, the overriding message is one of success. It's one of growth, and that's done through both organic growth, but also through acquisition growth.
We have to see something here, and we don't have much time, so because we need to go to the next place. And I think it was really interesting conversation with you, Justin. So thank you. But you said yourself that you were just pushing the buttons, right?
Oh, it's so easy.
Nigel does so much more than that. So,
but today he's pushing the buttons, right? So she can move on so we can see what is going on the screen.
So anyone that wants to know more about this technology should contact Global Graphics directly, and you can learn about this at globalgraphics.com.
So what is it we see here?
What you're seeing here is the heart of our smart DFE. This is our smart print controller. And what Nigel's doing here is there was a job in the waiting queue. We're able to just go in, have a quick look at that job to visualize it. And you can see that it's full of variable data content. Every single page on that file is variable. We can look at it in the layers. You know, there's all sorts of areas that we can look at. We can eliminate areas that we may want to look at. But this is just a simple preview of the document.
And the layers that you see, is that, I mean, I just saw that it was, the layers are basically, is that the layers from the original PDF? So you basically maintain, is that after it's been ripped that you still maintain the layers, or?
No, this is pre-rip.
Pre-rip, okay.
Yeah, so this is coming in, this is using one of our PDF technologies to be able to read the content of the PDF. Yeah. Just provide a thumbnail on there to give you just assurance that that's the job that you want to print.
I was more curious about, because I thought that, okay, if you were able to actually post-rip, see all the layers still, I just thought that was pretty smart.
Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll just send that to the print queue, and we'll send this to print. Now, what's going to happen now is that we're going to start the Harlequin Direct. Harlequin Direct is the variant of the Harlequin rip that we've already said is the world's fastest rip technology, and we're going to start to print that file, and we've got a simulation here of the print, the printing machine.
Okay, so that is like an emulation of it, basically.
Yeah. So at the moment that's just the screensaver. We're just going to restart our.
Oh yeah,
we love live demonstrations.
Yeah, we love them too.
But what we're going to do is we're going to rip and screen within memory, because with these large variable data files, if you have to write to disk, read from disk, it takes lots of time.
Even with SSDs, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So this is a live rip?
This is live ripping and screening, and you can see all the variable content on here. Yeah. But any customer, if you were only printing at that speed, isn't going to be very impressed. So what we do is we're now ripping and screening at, you know, beyond 300 meters a minute. Wow. Okay, with full variable data. And more impressively, we're doing that on a i9 level, you know, it's a high-end standard PC. Yeah. So we're not talking about industrial level technology here. So we can deploy, what we do is we make our software as fast as possible so that you need as little hardware as possible to reduce the bill of materials of your device.
Does that mean that you bypass Windows, or?
No, well, you can do. You can.
I was just joking.
You can run our technology on Linux if you want to do that. So we support both Windows and Linux. But the fact of the matter is that this is a complete DFE solution that you can either use one of our front ends or treat as a black box and make API calls to create your own front end. But you're going to get to market really, really quick when you've got that challenge of, how do I process the PDF file and get it to the print head?
That's pretty amazing. And I understand why you're smiling, because I mean, it is amazing to see technology at work like this, right? I mean,
this is real raster data that's going to the to the screen.
So the people that should reach out to you in case they're interested, is that, I mean, we talked about the engineers and the nerds, but I take that in specific companies that you are, is it the manufacturers of ink?
It's anyone that's manufacturing a digital print device, especially if they're manufacturing something that requires high speed, variable data printing, so single pass devices in particular, or manufacturers that have got a manufacturing production line where they feel that inkjet can add value to that process and they want to be able to insert a printing subsystem. So they're really the two constituents that are here, that are coming to talk to us, and we'd love those conversations with as many people that want to come and pick our brains as possible.
Fantastic. Justin,
well,
thank you.
I hope it's been useful.
Nigel, great to meet you. I don't know about your thing, but I think it was just a wonderful presentation from Justin here, and basically I think this is something where you can probably just leave that for a second. It's just because everybody wants to take off the microphone while we are on, and we just don't want that sound. So no. So basically, I think that's, you know, when you see software like this and you talk to people so knowledgeable that Justin and Nigel here, you understand that, of course, this is just a scratch in the surface. You need to go and talk to these people to learn more, in particular if in the field where this is something that you could need for your business, your product development, thing like that. So just want to thank you very much. It's been wonderful to learn a little bit more about this. And now we are going to hall 1, I think, to visit, let's see, I can't remember.